I have been married to Matt for 3 years and together for 6. I just gave birth to our daughter 4 months ago. My stepdaughter Anna loves her sister very much and is always asking for her. But a month ago, after I took my daughter back from her, I happened to look down and see a lice bug in my daughter's hair. I immediately panic and ask my stepdaughter if she has head lice. She starts dodging the question, so I look for myself and she is loaded. If I had been more observant prior to this moment, I'm sure I would have caught it or seen the signs, but admittedly, I haven't been paying too much attention to anything since I gave birth. I talked to my husband about it, who got in contact with his ex, and his ex tells him that she knew about the lice thing for a few weeks, and that they combed through the hair and did one treatment. My stepdaughter has extremely thick hair that reaches her rear end. It's going to take a lot more than one treatment and comb through, so I went out and bought nearly $80 worth of treatment and did her hair myself. Combed through it for almost 3 hours, but it was going to need follow-up, and I told my husband's ex as much, and even sent the product home with her. Well, this past weekend, Anna came back over, and needless to say, her hair is right back to what it was. She's loaded. I asked if her mom or her had gone through her hair, and she shrugged and said, "A little." I told her at this point that she needs to cut her hair. There's no way I can get rid of it or at least manage it properly with her hair being this long and this thick. She immediately said no, she's very fond of her hair, and I don't blame her. It's beautiful. But I blatantly told her at this point that I can't have her around the baby with head lice. I can't do treatment on the baby, and I can't use a lice comb because of her soft spot. So she can't be around the baby if she doesn't come up with a compromise. I told her she's old enough to be going through her own head as well, so she should be doing that if not anything else. She just got snappy with me and slammed off to her room. I get a nasty phone call a half hour later from her mother stating that I'm fucking ignorant to try forcing her kid to chop her hair off over an issue that they are taking care of, and said, "These things take freaking time, but you'd traumatize her and ruin her self-image and threaten to keep the baby away from her instead of be an actual parent and help." I just hung up. I then told my husband that he needs to handle it, but his daughter is not welcome here until the issue is resolved because I won't chance our daughter getting head lice. Everyone is pissed at me right now and thinking I'm pushing my stepdaughter away because I have a baby now and have replaced her. Am I the idiot? ETA. Prior to this, I did suggest she put her hair up and wear something over it. She refuses because it gives her migraines. I don't wish that she would cut her hair off, but it's the fact that her and her mother aren't doing anything to take care of the issue. In 2 months, her mom have done 1 treatment and 2 comb-throughs and expecting me to do the rest with a breastfeeding infant. I'm not even supposed to be around the treatment because of the fact that I'm breastfeeding. This isn't a normal, oh, there's a few bugs type of infestation. On the first swipe I did through her hair, the comb was full and bugs were falling off on the floor and on me. This is neglect, DHHS-worthy infestation. And considering her mother does not work, there's zero excuse for her not to be doing it. Edit. My husband is on active duty currently and will be deployed for at least 2 months. He was here when we originally found out his daughter was infested, and he helped me comb through and do treatments. He left 3 days later for his deployment. He is only angry at me for banning his daughter from the house because Anna still comes here when he is on active duty, and wanted to continue doing so because she wants to see the baby. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Cutting her hair isn't going to help the situation. My daughter also has long, thick hair down to her bum. She went to a sleepover at a friend's house and came back completely infested. I was livid. The only way her hair is going to be clean is if it gets treated with lotion and a nitty-gritty comb to remove the eggs. It literally took me 2 attempts and her hair was clean. Also, her mother needs to thoroughly clean her room and boil everything. Comment 2. Hedron is the only product I use. I have thick, long hair, and I work at DHHS, so I get lice a lot. The treatment is on day 1, day 4, day 7, day 10, and day 14, if they have lice in that manner. Make sure to apply it behind the ears and from the nape of the neck upwards. An added bonus is that it makes your hair shiny. Edited to add. At 13 years old, she can take care of it herself if it affects her self-image so much. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my last post, and for all the support and advice. It's been a tough few days since then, and I wanted to give you an update on what's been happening. So, after my last post, things got even more complicated. My husband Matt came back from his deployment early, and he was furious when he found out that I had banned Anna from the house. He accused me of overreacting and said that I was being unfair to Anna. We got into a huge fight about it, and he ended up storming out of the house. Later that day, I got a call from Anna's school. Apparently, they had noticed the lice infestation and had sent her home. They also informed me that they had reported the situation to DHHS, as they considered it to be a case of neglect. I was shocked and didn't know what to do. When Matt came back home, I told him about the call from the school. He was even more upset and said that I had caused all of this by making a big deal out of the lice. He said that if I had just been more patient and understanding, none of this would have happened. The next day, a social worker from DHHS came to our house to investigate the situation. She interviewed both me and Matt, and also spoke with Anna. After the investigation, she informed us that they would be opening a case and that Anna would be placed in temporary foster care until the lice infestation was cleared up and her mother could prove that she was capable of providing proper care. I was devastated. I never meant for things to go this far. I was just trying to protect my baby and do what I thought was best for everyone. Matt was furious with me and said that I had ruined everything. He said that he couldn't believe I had let this happen and that he didn't know if he could ever forgive me. Over the next few days, things only got worse. Matt barely spoke to me and spent most of his time on the phone with his ex, trying to figure out how to get Anna back. I felt like I was being pushed out of my own family. I tried to talk to Matt about it, but he just shut me out. He said that he couldn't deal with me right now and that he needed space. I was hurt and confused. I had always thought that Matt and I had a strong marriage, but now I wasn't so sure. As I reflected on everything that had happened, I realized that there had been signs of trouble for a while. Even before the lice incident, Matt had always been quick to take his ex's side and had often dismissed my concerns. I had always tried to be understanding and supportive, but now I felt like I was being taken for granted. I also started to wonder if there was more going on between Matt and his ex than just co-parenting. They had always been close, and I knew that they had a history together. I hated to think that Matt would ever cheat on me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. As the days went on, I felt more and more alone. I was trying to take care of our baby on my own, while also dealing with the stress of the DHHS case and my crumbling marriage. I didn't know what to do or where to turn. Finally, after a week of barely speaking, Matt came to me and said that he wanted a divorce. He said that he couldn't be with someone who would let his daughter be taken away, and that he didn't think we could ever move past this. I was stunned and heartbroken. Now, I'm left trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I never thought that trying to do the right thing for my family would lead to all of this. I'm scared for the future and don't know what's going to happen next. All I know is that I have to stay strong for my baby and try to find a way to move forward. Anyway, that's where things are at now. Thanks for reading and for all the support. It means a lot to know that there are people out there who understand what I'm going through. My sister lies to her fiancé about our other sister having a boyfriend. So I tell him the truth on their wedding day and watch as karma takes the wheel. My older sister, Kay, 32 years old. My younger sister, Jay, 28 years old. My younger sister's fiancé, Matt, 32 years old. Kay and Matt met at work about 3 years ago. He was hired as a consultant at her company on a few months' assignment. They became close, but nothing happened because they probably didn't think it was professional. I think both, or I know that my sister at least, was hoping that it would develop into something more when his assignment was completed. Kay is a very shy and private person, but even with that, she couldn't stop talking about Matt to Jay and me. When she turned 30, we encouraged her to invite him too with the rest of her close friends from work. She was very hesitant and panicked at first, but then she thought, yeah, why not? His assignment was almost done anyway. Matt and Jay met at that party. 6 months later, Jay told us that she and Matt are a couple. This devastated Kay, and I knew that even if she held herself together and pretended to be happy for them, I almost made her confess her heartbreak to me because I couldn't just let her hurt alone without any support. Kay said that after her birthday, Matt changed towards her and was even a bit angry. Then when he left, he stopped talking to her altogether. Kay said that she probably misinterpreted his interest in her. I know that she is still heartbroken about it. Matt was assigned with her company some more times again, and it was awkward at first, but eventually they were friends again. Now he is a part of the family. Kay never showed that she's hurt. Now I found out that Jay told Matt that Kay had a boyfriend at that birthday party. Matt is very handsome and lovely, and Jay basically wanted him. Matt was shocked at first because he was hoping for something more, but he probably just thought that he too misinterpreted my Kay's interest in him. He is very shy too. After the party, he probably decided to cut his losses and not pursue Kay. Jay, however, kept contacting him, asking him out. Be supportive. At first he refused, but then they started dating. How do I know all that? Jay's roommate spilled the beans to me, thinking I knew everything. I am closer to Jay than Kay. Matt has now proposed to Jay. I feel sick because I want to tell Matt what happened so he makes an informed decision. Marriage is not a game. At the same time, he and Jay seem to be perfect for each other, and the love is genuine. Maybe he was interested in Kay, yes, but obviously it wasn't that deep. Also Kay? I want to tell her, but she seems okay with the relationship too. She made it clear that Matt and Jay are obviously meant to be, or it wouldn't have happened. But I want to tell... Would I be the AH if I told everyone what happened? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. A marriage based on a lie or manipulation is not a good thing. These types of things tend to come out later and cause much bigger problems. You don't need to directly tell him, just mention it while talking with him like, yeah, she was single for a year. Insert another event near birthday, / you and Jay also met around that time, right? He will figure it out on his own. Comment 2. Not the idiot. This isn't really about Kay in the end, it's about Jay lying to him from the get-go to manipulate him. That's an incredible betrayal as a foundation for a relationship, and even if they move past it, it's still something I'd want to know before tying the knot. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my previous post and offering your insights. It's been a month since I last shared my dilemma, and a lot has happened since then. After much deliberation, I decided not to tell Matt about what Jay had done. It wasn't an easy decision, but I realized that their relationship had grown into something genuine, and I didn't want to be the one to potentially ruin that. However, the guilt of keeping this secret from Kay was eating me up inside. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and confided in Kay about what I had learned. To my surprise, she didn't seem as shocked as I had anticipated. She revealed that she had always suspected something wasn't quite right about how things had unfolded between her and Matt. Kay admitted that she had been harboring feelings for Matt for a long time, but she had never found the courage to act on them. As we talked, Kay shared a story from her past that shed light on her hesitation. She had been in a similar situation before, where she had developed feelings for a coworker. When she finally mustered up the courage to express her interest, she was met with rejection and humiliation. This experience had left her scarred and afraid to put herself out there again. Despite this revelation, Kay insisted that she was happy for Jay and Matt. She believed that everything happens for a reason, and that if she and Matt were meant to be together, it would have happened. I admired her strength and resilience in the face of heartbreak. In the weeks that followed, I noticed a change in Kay's demeanor. She seemed more withdrawn and distant, often declining invitations to family gatherings and events. I knew that the news of Jay and Matt's engagement had hit her harder than she let on. One evening, I decided to visit Kay at her apartment. When I arrived, I found her in tears, surrounded by old photos and mementos from her time working with Matt. She confessed that she had never truly gotten over him, and that seeing him with Jay was more painful than she had ever imagined. We spent the night talking and reminiscing about the past. Kay shared stories of the little moments she had shared with Matt, the inside jokes they had, and the connection she had felt with him. It was clear that her feelings for him ran deep, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness for what could have been. As the wedding day approached, Kay put on a brave face and helped with the preparations. She even offered to be a bridesmaid, much to everyone's surprise. I could see the pain in her eyes as she watched Jay and Matt exchange their vows, but she held her head high and smiled through the tears. After the ceremony, I found Kay outside, taking a moment to herself. She told me that she had made peace with the situation and that she was genuinely happy for Jay and Matt. She had realized that holding on to the past would only prevent her from moving forward and finding her own happiness. In the end, Kay decided to take a job offer in another city, hoping that a change of scenery would help her heal and start anew. As I hugged her goodbye, I couldn't help but feel a mix of sadness and pride. I knew that she was making the right decision for herself, but I also knew that I would miss her terribly. Looking back on the past month, I realized that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. Sometimes the things we want most don't always work out the way we had hoped, but it's in those moments of heartbreak and disappointment that we find our strength and resilience. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned and the growth I've experienced, and while I may never fully understand the reasons behind everything that happened, I know that I'll always be there for my sisters, no matter what. Thanks for reading and for your continued support. My brother cheats on his wife and marries his pregnant mistress only to divorce her too. So I expose his lies and watch as his world crumbles. My brother, 40-year-old, and his ex-wife, 40-year-old, got divorced out of the blue. According to his ex-wife, she was always clear that she didn't want kids. I don't know the whole truth because my brother honestly avoids this question. Anyway, we were still all shocked when they got divorced because these two loved each other and were inseparable. Very soon after, my brother introduced his girlfriend to us, his very pregnant girlfriend. Math isn't adding up. Mom confronted my brother, but he said it just happened, so we contacted the ex-wife, and after some prodding, she confessed that he has been saying that he wanted children and was having anxiety because they didn't have much time left. This was 3.5 years ago. He cheated on her, she found out about it, and asked for a divorce. Anyway, one day after the divorce was finalized, he got married to his affair partner, 29-year-old. Now they have 2 children. My brother changed a lot and he wasn't himself anymore, always brooding and looking miserable. Of course, with 2 children, you have other priorities, but he became very asocial and didn't do anything outside of work. According to his new wife, he was not like this when she first met him. He was happy and laid back. Now they fought a lot. Or mostly, she would cry and yell at him and try to get a reaction out of him, but he wouldn't give her anything back. Then one day, he moved out and filed for divorce and shared custody. This was 2 months ago when he told us that he was getting a divorce. Now he spends his weeks without the children with his ex-wife at her apartment. I think they have reconciled, or at least they are hooking up. I don't have that much contact with him anymore because I am disgusted, but he was his old self back. Happy and open and full of life. His current wife, pending divorce, sometimes spends time at my mother's with the children, and it is great and all, but she would not stop talking about the ex-wife. This morning I was there, and as usual, she started talking about her driving by the ex-wife and seeing my brother's car. She was angry, and I get that, but I was starting to feel sick. I mean, my brother is a total jerk. But honestly, for me, his current wife, is a close second on the jerk scale. I was thinking this to myself absently until I was brought back to the conversation when she was yelling that she felt used to produce children so his ex didn't have to. I got agitated because while I don't understand why his ex is seeing him again, she did not use his current wife. So I very sternly and loudly said, "Well, maybe next time don't sleep with married men." She was shocked, then started yelling at me, and I told her that she cannot possibly not have seen that he always loved his ex-wife and to stop lying to herself. She started crying. When she left, my mom started crying too. Then I started crying because I think I am the jerk too. But the problem is, none of what I said wasn't the truth of what happened. I called my brother to yell at him and told him that he should have thought about his children instead of breaking their home. He hung up. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. My grandmother, who was born at the tail end of the 19th century and told of a friend. Their husbands were friends, so they socialized. The woman was an AP, stole her husband away from wife number 1. Then about the same length of time into the second marriage as the first, Bingo, the younger and newer model, showed up and the woman was being divorced. The friend complained bitterly, and Grams responded, "What did you expect? That's how you got him? Things haven't changed much, I guess." Comment 2. Your brother is definitely a jerk, although the new wife should have seen this coming. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Maybe she is just paying for her wrong decisions. I feel bad for the kids, though. They are suffering unnecessarily. You are not the idiot. I think you were just frustrated with the situation and/or the constant nagging. I mean, what was the new wife even expecting? Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a tense 2 weeks since my last update. Thanks for sticking with me through this mess. After my outburst at my brother's soon-to-be ex-wife, things got even more complicated. She stopped bringing the kids over to my mom's place, which broke my mom's heart. I felt guilty for causing more drama, but I couldn't take back what I said. A few days later, my brother showed up at my door, looking like he hadn't slept in days. He told me that his ex-wife had kicked him out of her apartment after finding out about my confrontation with his current wife. Apparently, she felt like he was still causing too much chaos in everyone's lives. I let him crash on my couch, but the tension between us was clear. We barely spoke for the first couple of days, until one night he broke down and started telling me about how he had always regretted leaving his ex-wife. He said that he had been so focused on having kids that he didn't realize what he was giving up until it was too late. As he talked, I started to see a different side of my brother. He wasn't just the selfish jerk who had cheated on his wife and abandoned his family. He was a man who had made a terrible mistake and was now paying the price. Over the next week, my brother tried to make amends with everyone he had hurt. He apologized to his current wife and promised to be a better father to their children. He even reached out to his ex-wife, but she wasn't ready to forgive him yet. Meanwhile, I was dealing with my own fallout from the situation. My mom was upset with me for causing more drama, and my relationship with my brother's current wife was strained at best. I tried to apologize to her, but she wasn't interested in hearing it. As the days went by, I started to realize that this whole situation had roots that went back years. I remembered how my brother had always been the golden child in our family, the one who could do no wrong. Maybe that's why he had always been so afraid of disappointing anyone, even if it meant sacrificing his own happiness. And then there was his ex-wife. I had always thought of her as the perfect partner for my brother, but now I wondered if she had ever truly understood him. Maybe she had been so focused on her own desires that she hadn't seen the signs that he was struggling. In the end, my brother moved out of my place and into a small apartment of his own. He's still trying to figure out how to be a good father to his kids, while also dealing with the fallout from his mistakes. It's not going to be easy, but I think he's finally starting to take responsibility for his actions. As for me, I'm trying to be there for my family as best I can. I know that we all have a long way to go before we can heal from this, but I'm hopeful that we'll get there eventually. Thanks for reading, everyone. Until next time. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day!